It's the real news, and I'm Ben Norton. It's not just Macron who has made these kinds of remarks. Also, Hillary Clinton, when she was Secretary of State in the United States here in 2010, she infamously declared at a conference on U.S. diplomacy in Africa, quote, "For goodness sakes, this is the 21st century. We've got to get whatever happened 50, 100, 200 years ago, and let's make money for everybody," end quote. So Reuters also summarized Clinton's words, saying, quote, "African nations must stop seeking handouts and begin tough structural reforms." Joining us to discuss this today is Baba I. Baba is the policy officer for the Health and Social Service of the Public Services International, a global trade union federation. He is also editor of the Socialist Worker Nigeria and a contributing editor for the Review of African Political Economy. Thanks for joining us, Baba.
Thank you for having me, Ben.
So briefly, I'm wondering if you could comment on how France, which colonized large parts of Africa, certainly has a legacy of colonialism, very brutal colonialism, and we see how Macron reflects an indifference to the massive damage that colonialism has done historically and imperialism continues to do today. But briefly, I'm wondering if you could also comment on how this is not just a matter of French imperialism, but also American, British, and global imperialism.
You see, with imperialism in general, while there's competition amongst imperial powers always, they are united against poor working masses, particularly from the countries that they underdeveloped. You see, for Hillary Clinton to have said that, yes, I remember that she should first have been asked. She shouldn't even just be talking about Africa. Why is it that in the United States of North America, or parts of North America, you have blacks still, you know, a by far disproportionate portion of blacks are those that the poorest. You look at incarceration, you look at the state. These things are not accidental. These have roots, deep roots in slavery. These have deep roots in Jim Crow laws. Even the fact that blacks vote today, it was not something that Hillary Clinton's political forebears magnanimously bestowed. It had to be fought for and won in the 60s. So it's like exactly what Macron is doing, and Theresa May and Angela Merkel and so on and so forth, to give the impression that it's about let's make money and then it trickles down. But the fact of the matter is, it never trickles down. On the contrary, it gushes up. It gushes up. Between 1973 and now, real wages vis-a-vis the income of capital in the United States has declined drastically. And blacks, Hispanics, colored people, particularly blacks, have been the more worse off of this. You know, so and that also brings us down to what is the primary line of division in society, including in the United States. Of course, there are millionaire blacks also who might not feel uncomfortable with sharing such views that let's make money. We had the kind of diatribe from Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? But they are not only poor whites too, and which have partly, as it's been said, fed into the mass anger of the rise of the far right, you know, partly because of this, in some places subtle, in other places like the loudmouth now in the White House, more brazenly put, you know, but trying to give colorations of race, of nationality, to what are essentially class divides. What divides us is the wealth, ostentatious and stupendous wealth of the 1% on one hand, and the ever-increasing poverty and disillusionment of the 99% on the other hand. And let's make money, that's just saying. The evidence is there that it is let the 1% make money. Then some within the 99% get the crumbs from the masters or the mistress, if you will, table, and like the house negro, cry when the master is sick, because the master is not only sick, the system of the master is sick, and that system, driven by imperialism, has shown itself incapable of ensuring a better life for the immense majority of the human population, because it puts profit before people. And the challenge to youths in Africa, the challenge to working class people in Africa, the challenge to youths outside Africa, the challenge to youths and working class people outside Africa is for us to see beyond the lies, beyond, this ideological posturing of the likes of Hillary, of the likes of Macron, and fight to make the world better, and fight for a system that puts people over profit. As the slogan used to go of the social forum process, another world is possible. But we have to make it. The future is for the making. And what people like Macron, like Hillary are doing is trying to form a narrative that engenders the continuation of their anti-poor practice. And at each opportunity, we should reveal this for what it is, and we should go beyond revealing it for what it is. We should organize, mobilize, and fight against it, and fight for a better world.
We're going to have to end our conversation there. We were joined by Baba I. Thanks so much, Baba, for the incredibly enlightening discussion. You raised a lot of really interesting points, and it's something definitely that we should all think about today. Baba I is the policy officer for the health and social sector of Public Services International, a global trade union federation. He is also editor of the Socialist Worker Nigeria and a contributing editor for the Review of African Political Economy. Thanks so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
For The Real News, I'm Ben Norton.